welcome to my first ever YouTube video. I never thought I'd be saying these words out loud because I never thought I would be on YouTube, but anyway, here we are. Welcome. If you're somebody who's coming in from Instagram, hi there. And if you're a completely new audience member, welcome. I am RJ and I'm a professional pastry chef and a mentor for those of you who might not know me. If you do know me, well, you already know me. Anyway, I'm a little nervous because this is obviously like my first YouTube video, so I'm gonna have to calm down a little bit. This YouTube channel is going to be all about delicious recipes, different baking tips and tricks that's going to help you become a skilled, professional and a confident baker, and we're going to do a lot of fun stuff with this channel. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want to keep watching my beautiful face, and if you do enjoy this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and if you want to comment with some recipe suggestions or any questions or anything like that, feel free to go and leave a comment as well. Okay, so now that formal introduction is out of the way, let's actually get to what is my jam basically, which is baking, and I'm assuming it's yours too, so let's get into the good stuff. So today, because obviously this is our first video, so I obviously had to start with a bang. So I'm gonna keep it a little simple today. I'm just like warming you up, and then we're gonna get into, slightly fancier stuff down the line. But just to, give you a little bit of a peek of what you can expect. We're making something incredibly easy today, and I'm sure you've read the title, so you already know what I'm making. But just to sort of give you an introduction, so we're making a flourless chocolate cake today. Now this flourless chocolate cake is incredibly easy. It's got like 5 ingredients and it is so easy to make, but it is so incredibly delicious. You're going to be like, licking your spoon, licking your fingers, whatever you're going to eat it with, you're going to be licking the shit out of that because this is so good. Okay, let's get started. Now, before you go into any baking part, like the actual baking part, you're going to make sure you've got your mise en place ready. Mise en place is a very fancy French word for everything in its right place, meaning your ingredients are weighed up, you have your tools ready to go, you have your equipment ready to go. So I've got my mixer here that we're going to be using. If you don't have a stand mixer, feel free to use a handheld beater, that works just fine. I've got all my ingredients weighed up here. I have got my baking tin prepared, lined with paper and ready to go. I've got a pot of water here boiling to melt my chocolate over a bain-marie, and I'm going to quickly turn on my oven to 180 degrees Celsius for a deck or a conventional oven which does not have a fan, and 170 degrees if you have a fan-forced oven at home. So mine is a fan-forced, so I'm going to get it preheating at 170 degrees Celsius, and then we're going to jump into actually making our flourless chocolate cake. So now that my oven is preheating, first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our chocolate and butter melting. So in my bowl here, I've got 2 different types of chocolate. So I'm using a combination of 2 different chocolates. So if I were to show you, this is in no way sponsored, by the way. So I'm using Calibre 54.5%, which is like a medium dark chocolate, like it's not really bitter. So this helps to give a sort of base flavor to your cake, and to this I'm also adding a single origin chocolate called Mise, which is 65% cocoa, so it's a lot bitter compared to this one. Anytime you're making a chocolate dessert, it's always a good idea to mix 2 different types of chocolate and 2 different percentages of chocolate, just because it helps to add a really nice depth of flavor, because you've got a base flavor, but then there's some complexity coming in from the different type of chocolate you use. So this is my personal recommendation, to always use 2 different types of chocolate, just to give it a little bit, oomph to your chocolate dessert essentially. So I've got both my chocolates here in my bowl, and to this I'm going to add in my butter. So this is just unsalted butter that I'm using. And I've cubed it just so it melts a lot easier. Anyway, so I've got my butter and chocolate here, and I've got my pot of water boiling. So I'm going to pop this on top of my boiling hot water. And and let that melt completely. So we're gonna check on that once it's melted. Meanwhile, I'm also gonna get my eggs going. So I've got my stand mixer bowl here, and to this I'm gonna add in 3 eggs. So we're not separating our eggs like you would with most flawless chocolate cake recipes. This one's a lot easier. So we're gonna pop in all the eggs, the whole eggs together, add in our sugars, and let that whip to a ribbon stage consistency, and I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm just gonna crack my eggs in here. Try not to get the shell in, that would be handy. And to this I'm gonna add sugar. So again, I'm using 2 different types of sugar. Mainly I'm using caster sugar, but I've got a little bit of dark brown sugar in there as well, just to give it, a little bit more sort of caramelly undernotes essentially. So I've got both of them in here, and I'm using a whisk attachment. So I'm going to go at a medium speed. Anytime you're aerating something, always a better idea to go at a medium speed versus going full blast, because the air bubbles are going to be a lot more stable when you go at a consistent medium speed versus a very high speed. So this is going to take roughly 8 to 10 minutes. So I'm going to show you what the final consistency should look like. Let's quickly check on our chocolates. As you can see, the butter is pretty much melted, and so is the chocolate. So I'm just going to give it a stir. So I'm going to take it off the heat and let it cool down. I'm going to keep stirring this to melt any bits and bobs of chocolate that aren't melted, or maybe butter. So just keep stirring it. It's hot enough to melt all that remaining bits. And as you can see, it's pretty much all melted. Look at how luscious that looks. So I'm just going to leave this on the side. Okay, so our egg mixture is looking good. The way you want to tell is if I lift it up, you see it's leaving these ribbons. They do disintegrate, but it stays there for roughly 2 to 3 seconds before they start disintegrating. So this is what you're looking for, these ribbons that it leaves for a few seconds before it disintegrates. This is what a ribbon stage is. So I'm going to leave it in the mixer, keep it going, and then while it's still running, I'm going to slowly stream in my chocolate and butter mixture. And once it's combined, you want to stop mixing, not mix it any further. I'm going to take it off. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of this egg mixture back into this chocolate bowl, and then we're going to fold in our cocoa powder and salt. So let's pop all of this in. Look at how fluffy and pillowy that looks. Okay, everything in, we're going to give this a stir gently to mix in all that remaining chocolate. And now we're going to sift in our cocoa powder, and we're going to add a pinch of salt as well. You can pop in the salt right now and give that a stir. You can do this in advance. I just like to sort of sieve it on top. This helps to give it minimal lumps. That's good. And then we're going to fold it through. And yeah, our batter is ready. And now we're ready to put it in our cake tin. So this is what we're going to bake it in. I've got a roasting pan underneath my cake tin because we're going to bake this cake in a water bath. It's just so it helps to bake a lot more evenly, and it stops the cake from cracking too much, as you may or may not have seen that a lot of flourless chocolate cakes do. So this sort of helps prevent any of that and give us a smooth, beautiful cake. So I'm going to pop that in. I do have a tea towel between my cake tin and the roasting pan, just to prevent the bottom from getting too hot. So it sort of creates like a barrier between the bottom of the roasting pan and the cake tin to prevent it from sort of getting overcooked. And now we're going to lift this entire thing and put it into our oven. So now that our cake is in the oven, I'm just going to put a timer for 30 minutes, and then we're going to check it at the 30-minute mark and add more if we need to. So our cake is out of the oven. As you can see, it's nicely baked. It's puffed up just a little bit, but unlike the regular chocolate flourless cakes, it doesn't have those massive cracks or like that dry skin that we usually see with a lot of the other ones, and this is because of the water bath. This is why we do it this way. So now that this is out of the oven, it did take me 45 minutes, so I added 15 minutes after my initial 30-minute timer went off. So you want to start checking at the 30-35 minute mark, just because every oven tends to vary. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off the water bath and slide it onto a cooling rack. So be very careful when you do this so that the hot water doesn't burn you. There you go. The cake has been cooling down for a while now. It's still a little bit warm if I touch the bottom, but it's not hot that we can't flip it. So I'm just going to flip it onto my cake stand, my beautiful cake stand, so that it cools down a lot faster and then we can eat it that much faster. So I'm going to take my cake stand, put it on top of my cake, and then just flip it. Because we put parchment paper at the bottom, this should just come out. And voila! This chocolate cake is more on the fudgier side, so it's more like a brownie versus a cake. I mean, most flourless cakes are a bit dense, but this one, because we baked it in a water bath and it sort of has that slow cooking, it almost bakes like a custard, if that makes sense. Okay, perfect. So I've got it all out. Like I said, it's still a little bit warm, so I'm gonna let this cool down. It's just gonna cool a lot faster now that we've flipped it, and then we're ready to decorate it and eat it. Our cake's completely cooled down, so it's no longer hot or warm to touch, which is beautiful. Now, there are a couple of different sort of routes you can go. You can keep it simple as is, just dust a little bit of either cocoa powder, like that, or maybe some icing sugar and just serve it as is. You can add, if you want it to be like really, really indulgent, you can add some chocolate ganache to it, but it's gonna be super, super indulgent, but that's one option. Or you can add some whipped cream like I'm gonna do today. So just sort of whipped a little bit of cream here. Some whipped cream, gently put it in the center. And then you can do a little bit of like these scoops around. Now I'm going to top it up with some raspberries. So, and the last one here. Beautiful. So that's it. Go with some icing sugar and look at that. Okay, so this is ready. Let's actually cut into it because this is the part that we've all been waiting for. Now, the trick to getting a really, really clean cut is to use a big knife like this. And now you can either get a sort of cylinder or jug with extremely hot water, stick your knife into it, wipe it off and then cut, or you can get yourself a blowtorch, save the ordeal and just blowtorch your knife to warm it up. And go right into it to get a really sort of clean cut. Oh my god, look at that. I don't know about you, but I can't wait to dig into this, so let's actually go for it. Here we go. Oh, I can already feel it so good. Oh, that's actually like eating a chocolate pudding, but it's so incredibly, it feels so incredibly light in when you actually try it, but you know it's got the goods. But oh my god, that is sinful. That is so delicious. It's literally like eating a chocolate mousse but in a baked form. That's the best way to describe it. That's like literally the only way I know how to describe it. That's too good. I feel like I'm gonna have chocolate tea all over now. So I'm gonna speak as little as possible. Otherwise I'm gonna be a meme tomorrow. But I'm genuinely impressed by myself right now. Anyway, coming back on track. This is your beautiful, beautiful chocolate mousse cake. Let's just call it a chocolate mousse cake, okay? We're just sticking with that one. this is how you make your chocolate mousse cake. It is honestly amazing. You have to make it right now. After this video is over, just head to my website at www.myyummyspatula.com. I'll leave a link in my description box, and go and get the recipe because you have to make it right now. That's the rule. You need this in your life. There's like no other way for me to say this. So go over and check out the full recipe and give this a go, because you will be so happy that you have this in your life right now. I'm not even kidding. But yeah, that's all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, if you did enjoy watching this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and let me know what else you would like to see, or if you want to try this or not. And if you want to keep coming back for more delicious recipes, please hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys next week. Until then, I'm just gonna very shamelessly grab both of these pieces and go sit on my couch and eat them with no regret or guilt whatsoever, because I've earned them making them. So here you go. Happy weekend. I don't know when this is going to come out, but happy weekend, happy week, enjoy your week, happy baking, and I'll see you guys next week. Mwah!